Hi, I'm Allison,
And I'm Taylor.
and we're the hosts of the Anxiety Chicks podcast, where we dive deep into the reality of anxiety, nutrition, and mental health.
Listen as we explore all things anxiety healing while keeping it real, including our own struggles with mental health.
We'll bring our expertise as healing professionals to the conversation while discussing the tools and strategies you need to heal the anxious mind.
Listen to the Anxiety Chicks on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Anxiety Chicks podcast. I'm Allison Sepanera.
And I'm Taylor.
And we're going to talk today about something that I feel could be a game changer in your anxiety healing journey, especially when it comes to rewiring your anxious brain and creating new neural pathways and just creating new patterns of thinking. As a cognitive behavioral specialist, I have used this on myself, but also I use it daily on myself, to be honest. But I've used it with hundreds, thousands of clients I've worked with in the past 2 decades. And some of you might have actually worked on this before. I don't know, but I'd love to hear if you have and kind of what your experience has been like. But today we're going to talk a lot about something called thought detachment. So I'm curious, Taylor, when I say thought detachment, what do you think I mean by that?
To me, this kind of reminds me of something we're doing in EMDR, where you can kind of look at a thought or a situation with a very neutral stance and not have a heavy emotion to it, not be reactive to it, or...
Yeah.
Am I on the right track?
Yes. No, totally. Sort of. Okay. Yes. You pretty much want to create space between that thought and you, right? And reality. So you can kind of observe that they're there instead of automatically just believing it or reacting to it. So pretty much on the wavelength, but basically you really want to just learn how to notice that the thought is there without becoming it. And I think that's something
is this kind of like the ants thing?
So automatic negative thoughts are part of
Okay.
the CBT umbrella. But automatic negative thoughts just are. They are going to be there. So I think Dr. Amen talks about this a lot. Yeah. It's pretty much the precursor to this, though. So we do want to be aware that we have a lot of ants, what's your automatic negative thoughts, and the awareness is the first piece of this, right? We have 70,000 thoughts a day, more or less. I don't know, but we have a lot. Okay. And these thoughts come into our brain automatically. Some of the thoughts can be like, that chair is ugly, or, oh my gosh, I have to stop at the stop sign. Or it can be, oh my gosh, I'm going to die. I just found a spot on my finger. Or I can't breathe great right now. I think I'm having a panic attack. Those are all thoughts you can have at any given time, right? The automatic negative ones, there were a couple of them that I said, right? What were the negative thoughts that I said right there?
Something harmful is happening to you.
Right.
You're worried something's going to, yeah.
Right. Those were the automatic negative ones. So if we can start becoming aware of what those are, then we can start to learn to work on thought detachment a lot better. There's a little process to it. But yeah, so you basically are starting to learn how to notice that the thought is there without becoming it. And we talked a lot in the last episode we recorded a lot about how it's hard not to believe a thought when it happens, as far as intrusive thoughts. They seem very believable, right? So Taylor, when you were going through your really, really dark time with panic disorder, do you remember the thoughts that were just ruminating over and over, spiraling? What were some of those?
I feel like I'm about to die. I feel like I'm going to go crazy. I feel like if I go to sleep, I won't wake up. A lot of those very impending doom thoughts, very irrational thoughts. I feel like something's wrong with my heart and they just don't know it.
Yeah. Okay. So you think about all of those, right? And how I can imagine that back then you really believed that. You believed all of those. Yeah. You believed those. The truth was, though, like the reality of it was what was I don't know if you can answer. I don't want to put you on the spot, but
No, you're fine.
but now that you know of what you learned, can you look and say what was the reality of all of those thoughts you were having?
Oh yeah, dysregulated nervous system. And
Right.
a bit like just a extreme irrational, high strung, yeah,
Yeah.
just extreme dysregulation.
Yeah, yeah. And so what was happening was all these thoughts were starting to kind of filtrate in through your brain for lots of different reasons. We have them lots from lots of different experiences that we feel like our mind and our body are in danger when we're really not. But the truth of the matter is, back then, you kept believing, I'm in danger, I'm in danger, I'm in danger. But this little gentle reframe now, right, I'm going to give you could be a game changer. I'm not saying it's easy to do this, y'all, okay? But as you practice this more and more and start rewiring your brain, this little shift is going to really, really help you. So when you're able to start just being aware of the ants that come to you right away, instead of you say, like, I'm in danger, you can say, I'm having the thought that I'm in danger, right? Like, I'm having this thought that I'm in danger. This is the thought that I'm having right now. It kind of helps detach you from what's really happening. So you can kind of ask yourself, I'm having the thought right now that I'm in danger. I'm having the thought right now that I see something on my leg and I think it's cancer. And that's the thought I'm having right now. What's reality? What's going on though right now for real? Well, I see something. I don't know what's going on. I'm going to go call the doctor. Do you know? Go ahead.
That
Do
no,
you
that's
want to
just
say?
that's so crazy. You just said that. Hang on, keep talking. But I just
Okay.
literally right before we got on here, I came across this TikTok and I was like, "Whoa, that's oh here we go." Okay, it's this person, this actor actually was talking about his number one I don't know if y'all can see that, but it's his number one healing strategy or coping strategy, sorry. And he goes on like his notes app. So we always have our phones on us, right? So what he did, kind of like what you just said, he had a spot where it says thought, and then it says feeling, and then it says impulse, and then it says truth. So he goes in, he writes the thought, then he writes the feeling behind the thought, then he writes the usual impulse, and then he writes the truth behind the thought.
That's amazing. That's a great
I
exercise.
know you would know this guy,
Yeah. Yeah.
Joshua Bassett. You know the one that Olivia Rodrigo sang all the songs about.
Okay. Okay.
He has
Yeah.
a lot of anxiety.
Okay. But that's wonderful. Yes. And that is classic CBT,
Yeah.
identifying your thought, then the feeling that goes with it, what your behavior is, and then what the actual truth is. That's the reframe. So this could really be so helpful even in that exercise too, is recognizing you just change a little bit of the language, right? If you can recognize that your brain keeps spiraling with this, like, I'm in danger phrase, well, no, I'm having the thought that I'm in danger.
And for
What's
people who, okay, so you've done CBT, you've learned CBT for a long time, but for somebody who is listening to you and they're like, okay, I usually have the thought and it's usually pretty negative and I don't really do anything about it. What is happening to them when they do that version or they do the version where it's like, I'm having this thought, this is the feeling, but this is the truth actually.
So there's something called cognitive bias in the
Okay.
psychology world, okay? And what that essentially means is that the more that we tell ourselves something, the more we actually are going to believe it. So if we don't actually stop and try and reframe the way we're thinking, or really actively work on shifting the way
Mm-hmm.
we're thinking, we're not going to create any new pathways to actually believe that. We're going to just essentially, our brain's going to make us believe more and more of the bad because we're
So
biased
that
to it.
the things we're thinking about that are super negative, we're just going to suddenly create those as facts in our brain. But if we do what you're saying, where we have the thought, because we're all going to have these automatic negative thoughts, but when we have them and we look at it and we actually kind of break it apart, see the thought kind of away from us and change it, we can over time change the automatic negative thoughts.
Yeah, yes.
Like
So
change that
exactly.
thought from ever kind of coming
We
again.
won't. Well, I was just going to say, I think I said this in the beginning, but our goal is to not have any thoughts ever again,
Right.
right? That's not the goal, is to not have a thought. The goal is to recognize and detach from them.
Okay.
So, as we're going on to detachment, it's more of yes, we want to work on being aware, is the first thing of them, and recognizing that they're there. So, that's the awareness. Then we want to work on like catching them, not stopping them, and not like pushing them away at all. We kind of want to catch them, and then we want to say, how can we reframe this? And
So
how
maybe
can
over
we
time, you're less emotional to that thought or reactive to that thought.
you just don't see it as complete truth anymore,
Okay. Yeah. So
because
like
it's
in,
not the I am in danger, it's the thought saying I'm in danger, and it's just a thought. Thoughts don't have any power. Thoughts can't hurt you.
yeah. No, that makes sense. That's actually very helpful to a lot of people, I feel like, because I feel like we have a lot of the same thoughts a lot. And a lot of those thoughts feel very dangerous, even though they're not dangerous. The thought feels dangerous.
Yes.
And so
Yes.
it's
I mean,
nice to know if we do that, we can maybe not feel that way towards the thought as much.
and the thought feels dangerous is a huge piece you just said, because when I work with people that have severe OCD and they have certain subtypes, they might have certain thoughts that they would never tell a person that they
Hmm.
have, intrusive thoughts. I mean, we're talking thoughts about unaliving people or SA and all of this type of that they would never do in a ever. They are a
Yeah.
perfectly empathetic, kind person, but for some reason they have certain intrusive thoughts sometimes, and it's really debilitating for them, and then that causes a lot of shame. And the truth is, there's certain thoughts that come to everybody's mind at any given time, but the thought is the thought, right? There is
Hmm.
an impulse and a behavior that is an option for people if some people do choose to do that, and it happens, and that's where the law comes in. But having the thought itself is what scares people. Like, those are the thoughts that scare those kind people that would never choose to do anything, but they're having these thoughts. They're scared of the thought. And so that's a whole nother episode about how to treat certain OCD clients like that. But when it comes to learning, part of what they do learn is how to detach from them and how to see them, the thoughts, as an observer. Like, they're just looking at the thought. A lot of analogies I use are, you probably have heard this before if you've been in therapy. Imagine your thoughts are like clouds. You're sitting on grass and you're looking up and you're seeing all of these clouds pass you by, and then you see certain shapes and they're just going so fast or maybe slower and they're passing you by. You want to imagine your thoughts just like that, right? Like,
Hmm.
you're looking at them. I like to make an analogy of my, I say to my clients that thoughts can look like a lot of fish swimming at any given time in a pond, and you're actually standing next to the pond and looking in. And there's a lot of fish that are a lot bigger, a lot of fish that are smaller. There's some fish that come up and try and bite you, and that you get really scared of, and that they're trying to, like, some fish are trying to protect you, but it doesn't feel like that. But that you're still in control of them because you're outside of the pond and they can't hurt you. So, these visuals can be really helpful in
Hmm.
helping remind you that the thought in and of itself is something that's coming up for you, but it is not tangible. It cannot hurt you. So, I think for some examples of this, I'll give it to you, like what detachment looks like. So, instead of saying something like, in your mind, it might be automatically, something bad's going to happen.
Hmm.
Bad is going to happen. Or, oh my gosh, what is this feeling? Something is wrong. Something is wrong. Or, I can't handle this. I can't handle this right now. I can't handle this. Okay. Some reframes that you might want to practice is, okay, I'm noticing that this is an anxious thought right now. I'm noticing my thought, right? Or, okay, here is my mind trying to protect me. My mind's trying to protect me from something, but I'm not in danger right now. My mind is trying to protect me. It's also kind of like a lot of what we think about when we're anxious is like trying to predict something, right? Like the what ifs. So a lot of times it's okay, we know a what if thought. If you have a lot of those, your brain is trying to predict something for you to try and protect you. But again, um, I don't know if we said it this episode or the other one. I repeat this all the time, but worrying won't change the outcome, right? It just won't change the outcome. So
Yeah.
that's another one you could use. Also, another phrase that could be really helpful is this is a fear response, not a fact. I'm scared. I might be scared of something right now. That's a fear response. And but being having a feeling, feelings are fleeting. Having a feeling is valid. Doesn't mean that you're in danger though, because you're scared, right? So, you know, a lot of reasons why this helps is because you're not really like arguing with the thought. A lot of people, I say to a lot of my clients, it feels like you're sometimes in a fight with your brain. You
And
just
that makes
literally
it
are,
and that makes it louder.
yes.
Yeah.
You're like you want to fight with it. You hate it. And then you're
Mhm.
also you're being mean to yourself too and not compassionate. So you're trying to fight. So this actually helps you step back from it again and being an observer. If there's one key word you hear today, it's detachment and be an observer. Observing and detachment. Those are huge steps to practice,
Yeah.
right? So, this it can take a lot longer and shorter depending on who you are. So don't think that, just because it's taking you a lot of time to practice this throughout your years and your life, it's not working. Okay. I still have to do this in different moments of my life because there's different parts of my life I feel nervous about more than others.
Yeah.
That's what I have to do. And so, if you think of anxiety makes the thoughts that we have feel urgent, loud, and true, right? They all feel like that's what that is. That's anxiety. But when you really practice detaching from them, it really kind of like reduces the rumination. It can prevent a lot of those spirals. And then it can help your body balance. So you're not in this constant fight or flight within your body. So it kind of teaches your brain that, okay, I can notice this. I'm an observer. I notice it, but I don't need to like fix it right this second. I need to fix
Yeah.
it right away.
I
So,
like you got me. I was just in deep thought about that. I'm like that well cuz a lot of times we just kind of allow thoughts and you have to get to a point where you're like, "Eh, I can allow it, but I can be in control. I'm more in control than I realize. It's just a thought."
well, and that's essentially what detachment is. It's allowing the thoughts.
Yeah.
It's allowing the thoughts and then knowing that they're going to pass and
I
knowing
feel
that,
like when you first start learning about anxiety, like as somebody who experiences it, you just want to like you feel a bad thought and you're like, I don't think about that. Don't think about it. And then you find yourself you're like obsessing over it and thinking about it more. And yeah, it's not the way to
100%.
go.
100%, because it I will say 100% of the time, even though someone will probably say no, you're wrong, but 100% of the time of the people that I've worked with and in my life and experience, there is a physical symptom that is connected to what's going on in your brain when you're in fight or flight.
Hmm.
Okay, and your brain is ruminating. So that is real. Those physical symptoms are real. They are. I mean, and that's when you were saying before how the brain is powerful. The brain controls our entire system of our body.
Hmm.
It does. The brain is the muscle. It has every single part of how we function. It's basically the hard drive of our body. So, I think also the other thing I love about Dr. Amen is he calls it brain health.
Hmm.
instead of mental health. And even just that language, I love because you think of it, it is brain health.
Hmm. Like we get up every day and we try and move our bodies, or we take care of our physical appearance with hygiene.
Yeah.
It's very interesting that we don't do brain exercises like that.
Yeah. 100%. And I just want to make clear too what thought detachment is not. Okay. It's not toxic positivity. It's not someone just saying think positive. Okay. It's not like suppressing your thoughts and just putting them down, putting them down. It's not that either because you're observing them and you're acknowledging they're there. You want to acknowledge them, right? It's not forcing yourself to just be calm. My God, be calm. No. And it's not apathy. It's not just pretending you don't care. You're acknowledging that they're there and you're acknowledging that it is a thought,
Yeah.
right? And the relationship changes with it. That's really the biggest thing. Like your relationship with your thoughts sort of change. You know what I mean? Like if you're thinking you
Hmm.
were like what it's like to be in a relationship with your brain, that's a existential question. But you if there's one thing you just know, it's not to get in a fight with your brain and to try and make the thoughts go away forever. It's just trying to work with them, recognize they're there as an observer and also there to protect you from something that you're scared of, which majority of the time if you have anxiety, it's nothing dangerous. Um, and just try and embrace it. And that's where the self-compassion comes in again because you want to embrace it, you want to recognize it's there, you can now detach from it, right? Say that you're doing all this work and you're like, wait, I can see it. I can see that big fish right there in front of me and it's trying to pull me in to the pond and it's not going to because it's just a fish, just a thought. And now I can talk to myself with a compassionate lens because the next part of this is to say, well, okay, so now I know that I'm scared. That's the emotion happening right now. When I have these loud thoughts and I see these big fish, it tells me that I'm scared right now of something. So like, what is that? What am I scared of right now? And okay, maybe I know. Oh, well, it's because I have this coming up or I have this test or whatever, or this my health thing. Okay. So think to yourself how you would help someone that you love who feels scared right now. What would you tell them? You would probably say, this is a scary time. I'm here for you. Know that, feeling scared is totally okay. Nothing is wrong with you for feeling scared. If you have to cry, you can cry. Maybe you want to go just like take a walk or what kind of helps you, but I'm here with you. And you can just, whatever you need is what you need. And just now you can hold compassion with yourself through that fear and talk to yourself in a kind way instead of just being critical. And then
Yeah.
that's like the golden egg of everything, all of that together.
It's sometimes the most simple techniques that you just kind of sit back and you're like, I need to do that more.
Oh my God,
Very simple, free.
you just hit the nail on the head though. One, I know it sounds simple. Obviously, me and you both know that because if it was so simple, everyone would just be doing it all the time, be like, yeah, we got it. And it's not because you need to do this all the time in order for your brain to change.
Yeah.
Like, and who has time for that? We all have different lives, but if you can do something like this multiple times a day when you're starting your treatment, right? I get new clients, I have them do something like this, like 3 times a day as they're starting the work together. As their brain changes, maybe down the road, they only have to do it like once a day, twice a day, then once a day, and then once every other day, and then like once a week, So the more that the brain recognizes how to do it just automatically, their pathways change, then it doesn't feel as much like work.
I'm literally creating it in my notes. I'm a visual person, so I
Awesome.
need to like see it.
Same. Well, that's why affirmations are amazing too. And people have a lot to say about affirmations, but affirmations basically are just like another word for reframing thoughts, like self talk statements. And if you are a visual person, Taylor, I would suggest writing some of this down also, like on a sticky note and pasting it like around your house.
I literally have that on my mirror right here.
Okay.
I'll read them to you guys. My mind is healing each and every day. Sensations are not emergencies. I can feel uncomfortable and still be okay. I can tolerate uncertainty. I'm safe in my body right now. 1 million times I've felt odd and was okay. I am okay.
I love it. That's awesome. Yes, perfect. Yeah. And if you
Everybody
can,
go in your notes app right now because you're going to forget.
I know exactly. But I will say, I think being able to have these reminders throughout your day is even better than your notes app. So I would say take some of like, if I was working with you, I would say take some of what you wrote down on your mirror and put like one or two of them in your phone, but on your alarm. And
Your reminder app?
yes, and
Yeah.
put a reminder 8 times a day with that phrase that comes up so you can look at it and see it and absorb it. But you have to do it intentionally. So like say you put the reminder in like 6 times a day every hour, you can't just look at it and like let it go because you're in the middle of something. You have to actually look at it and you have to take a breath and you have to say it to yourself and close your eyes. And it takes a minute or two to do that, but you have to do that intentionally. And that's going to change your brain.
So are you saying write all of those in the reminders or write in your reminders to read all those?
I would actually take I wouldn't do all of them at once. I would take
Okay.
like what's the one you like the best off that list?
I can tolerate uncertainty.
I would take that one. I can tolerate uncertainty, and for the next week, I would put that one statement in your reminder app like 5 times a day, so it comes up for you. And when it's 2 o'clock, up it comes up, and you see the statement. I can handle uncertainty. You see the actual statement. Close your eyes, take a deep breath in and out. Maybe take 3 rounds of them, and repeat that to yourself a couple times, and do that throughout the day. And then the week later, take another statement from your list and do the same thing.
I
See
like
how it
that.
goes.
Healing
And
tip
then
of the day.
and then fill us in the next episode how you feel.
I'm going to do
But
it. I'll be back.
I love it. I
Repeat,
love it.
repeat every day, repeat daily.
I mean, really it's that is essentially how affirmations work. Is those are maybe they're not like affirmations and what Louise Hay would say, but when your brain starts seeing these statements and you start really and this is also really important that you're doing this work at a regulated state that's inside your window of tolerance. That is when your brain is going to really change. When you're outside your window of tolerance, none of this stuff's going to work. Sorry, everybody. You have to get regulated first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. You cannot be in survival mode.
So, no. So, anyway, okay. I love this episode because it's like my bread and butter, but it sounds like you got some good tools, Taylor. And I hope all of you listening and watching got some good tools. And keep me posted on how it's working for y'all. I'm curious because, I've had a lot of success with lots of people I worked with and myself doing a lot of this work. So, just remember to give yourself grace. That's the biggest thing. And be compassionate with yourself, okay?
Yeah.
All right, guys. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks so much for hanging out with us today.
We hope this episode reminded you that you're not alone and healing is always possible.
If something we shared helped you, the best way to support the show is to leave a review or share this episode with a friend who needs it.
And make sure you're following us on Instagram at The Anxiety Chicks for more support between episodes.
We're just two chicks on our own healing journeys, cheering you on every step of the way.
Until next time.
Take a deep breath. You've got this.